The ley points right this way. Join Third Rate Content as we embark on part 2 of our ley line quest across Shropshire at Worthen, All Saints Church. So welcome back to Third Rate Content, and today we are at Worthen Church in westerly Shropshire, not too far from Shrewsbury, about 25 minutes drive. But what brought us to Worthen today, this wonderful church, was we're following the ley line that we drew from Mitchell's Fold Stone Circle, which is about 4 or 5 miles in that direction. You can see the Callow Hill Fort or Hill Settlement just there, leading into that area. And we drew a straight line from Mitchell's Fold north, all the way up past Castle Ring Hill Fort, further up to here, Worthen, and Caus Castle, which we visited. Caus Castle. We're making our way, just to confuse it, we're making our way south. So we did Caus Castle, and we're now here at Worthen, and the line was literally at where the road is now. So, and Alfred Watkins said a lot of the time the ley won't pass directly through, it'll just be to the side of it. So yeah, it hits all that sort of Alfred Watkins isms, and it scores quite highly on the, well, pretty highly on the Alfred Watkins scale, if there is one. There is an unofficial one, but we're here. But what we discovered while we were researching Worthen Church, is that there is a war hero, supposedly. I've been looking for the grave, I can't find it, but we'll still tell you the story. And it's a war hero, but it was a cross-dressing woman who was called Mary Anne Talbot, and there was a kind of convoluted story how she ended up dressing as a male and taking part in several battles, according to her story, the narrative of it. So we're going to find out all about that and some more ley line goodness. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. Worthen, from the Old English meaning enclosure, has an extensive entry in the Domesday Book describing a manor worth £10 before 1066, but there is no mention of a church or a priest. There are several unusual features about Worthen Church. The tower is to the north of the nave, the chancel is Georgian, and the varied assembly of ancient pews is the finest in Shropshire. The roof of Worthen Church has collar beams on arch braces and lateral wind braces featured covering the nave. The tower is massive, with walls 5 feet thick at ground level, and it is likely that it was a place of refuge in this troubled border area during the early Middle Ages. The lower part is Norman, the upper stage is perpendicular with an 18th century parapet. The spacious nave itself is also possibly 13th century, although the tracery of the windows is decorated but restored. There are no aisles, but in view of the great width of the nave, 33 feet, Mercer speculates that there may once have been one or two timber arcades. The west window is perpendicular with a small cusped round window above. The porch dates from the 17th century with open woodwork on each side. Let's get back to the lines. Yeah, so here I was messing with my map, my Ordnance Survey map. I love to do that. And I drew a straight line from Mitchell's Fold. Those ancient stones, the Bronze Age sort of configuration. But the ancient stones hit next Rorrington Hill and Castle Ring Hill Fort. We will visit that at some point. We're actually going south. So the line went up all the way to Worthen, and as you can see, it passes just a few 50 feet from the church here, and then continues up to Caus Castle, which we visited quite recently. And for the purposes of our investigation, we started here on a recent video, and then we've made our way down to Worthen, and we will be hitting, hopefully, the hill fort that precedes Mitchell's Fold. So I was messing with my map and drawing ley lines, and the line brought us here to Worthen Church. And while we were researching Worthen Church, we came across Mary Anne Talbot. Was born in Lincoln's Inn Fields in London in 1778. She claimed to be the illegitimate daughter, one of them, of Lord Talbot. She was moved to Worthen at a very young age and lived with a wet nurse till age 5. She then went to a private school in Chester. But at some point, her mother died also, and her money and health, she was sort of given over to the trust of a person, a man, who probably wasn't the best. Looking back, Mary Anne Talbot ended up being the significant other half, the mistress of a captain in the army. He suggested that Mary Anne dressed up as a drummer boy and got her a place in his regiment, and she actually served during the Battle of Valenciennes and was injured but survived, not like her other half. But Talbot found in the letters of her lover, the captain, that he had made a deal with her legal guardian on her inheritance and to split it upon her death in the battle. So he got his just desserts, being killed in the confrontation. And this was in 1793. She got shot, deserted from the army, got a place as a cabin boy on a French civilian ship, which was then taken by the Royal Navy, and she served as a powder monkey in a major naval battle. Yeah, she served on the HMS Brunswick and received a serious grape shot injury to the leg, which affected her for the rest of her life. She subsequently got captured by the French and actually served 18 months in a French dungeon. It must have been awful. But after Mary Anne was released from prison, from the dungeon, she then signed on to move to America and was serving as a cabin boy on a civilian craft going to the New World. But unfortunately, the captain of the ship's daughter fell in love with Mary Anne, thinking she was a man, and Mary Anne had to leave the ship's employ because the advances were just too much. But it was the ley line, or perspective ley line, that brought us to Worthen Church, and it would just be going in that direction. But this ley line's got magic written all over it. Worthen and Caus Castle have just been the start. We will be following it, hopefully at some point, south-westerly past Mitchell's Fold in the not too distant future. But Mary Anne's ghost and presence here at Worthen Church is riding our ley line, I think. But Mary Anne Talbot died at 30 or just after. She'd had a hard life. She'd actually had been to Newgate debtors prison after being released from the French dungeons because her guardian had spent all her inheritance while she was away at war and locked up in a French prison. These things unfortunately do happen and did happen in that era. These yews and the graves are playing hide and seek. Mary Anne is definitely not buried at Worthen Churchyard, though we were brought here on the end of the ley and her story just popped out and we had to tell it while we were here. But it does feel quite serene, and there is a quiet power here in the churchyard amongst the yews and the ancient graves. But Mary Anne's story and my ley line do bring magic and history to our video today and to Worthen Churchyard. We've visited Caus Castle already on our ley hunt. We'll be doing more on it over time. But thank you for joining us today. It's been a lovely investigate of this beautiful Grade 1 listed church and its churchyard. We didn't find Mary Anne's grave, but you know, the story is questionable, because in her last years of life, Mary Anne did live was the housekeeper of a publisher, and his business was releasing books and narratives and stories. So who's to know if he took some of Mary Anne's troubled and interesting life and added to it? We don't know, but it has made for a fantastic story today, I think, and a beautiful, beautiful place to visit. So if you did enjoy today's video, why don't you leave us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, but thank you if you have, and hit the notification bell to keep up to date on all third-rate contents, goings on. And if you're in the market, why don't you follow us on Instagram? We're on there every day. So if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third-rate content signing out. Bye bye.